So this one in Google Classroom, this is actually week 4, and the title of the page is Exponents. So go ahead and just put exponents at the top of your paper. And what we're going to talk about with exponents is if you are multiplying the same base. So let's talk about base and exponent. So if I have 5 to the 3rd power, 5 is the base and 3 is the exponent, and it tells you how many times you take the base times itself. So this would really be 5 times 5 times 5. And we're honestly not doing that so much as this. If we would take 5 to the 3rd times 5 to the 8th, that base is the same. When the base is the same and you're multiplying, you leave the base, 5, you don't really multiply it out, and you add the exponent. So 3 plus 8 would be 11. So that would really be 5 to the 11th power. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So this number 1, we're going to go ahead and do 4 to the 2nd times 4 to the 2nd. You leave your base 4 and then add 2 plus 2, 4. Number 2 is just 4 times 4 to the 2nd, but that first 4, if there's no exponent up there, what is it really? 1. So this really becomes 4 to the 3rd. Don't forget about that. Sometimes that's really easy to forget that there's something there. Okay, so that's really what you do when it's the same base. Now let's talk about some that aren't the same base. Yeah?
Do you want us to rewrite the equation?
You don't have to, no. Okay, so let's look at one that's a little different. So let's say number 5. 2 and 5 are not the same base. 2 times n to the 4th times 5 times n to the 4th. 2 and 5 are not the same base. This is a multiplication problem. So you actually multiply those. So that would be 10. N, though, is the same. And there's n to the 4th and n to the 4th. So you would have to put 10n to the 8th. So if the base is the same, you leave it, add the exponents. If there are numbers that are not the same, you have to go ahead and multiply those out. Any questions about that? And yes, we did do that in pre-algebra. Okay, let's look down here for something that's a little bit different. If you have multiple variables, so let's look at number 13. Again, it's a big product, so 7 and 10 and 8, those are all different, but you have to multiply them together. So 7 times 10 is 70, times 8 would be 560. And then you just look at the variables. Well, they've got u's. I'm going to go in alphabetical order. U. There's no u in that first part, but there's 3 here and there's 1 here. So I would put u to the 4th. Then I'd go back and catch the v's. There's 3 in the first one, 5 in the second, and 3 in the third. So that'd be v to the 11th. 560 u to the 4th, v to the 11th. So you just do every letter. Go ahead and do it in alphabetical order, and don't miss any that way. Okay, now I'm going to switch a little bit. There's some problems up the bottom, but there's not very many, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch to a whiteboard for this part. So you're probably going to write this down. I'm going to talk about something called power on a power. And that would look like this. If you had x to the 3rd power, and we take that to the 4th power, that just means that I'm going to have x to the 3rd there 4 times. So whether you add that up 4 times or really just multiply this, that would end up being x to the 12th. So power on the power, you end up multiplying the exponents, not just adding them. Multiply the exponents. Okay, so if I had 6 to the 2nd, and then I took that to the 5th, you'd say 6 to the 10th. But what happens now if we go ahead and do this? I'm going to say 2a to the third, and I'm going to take that to the fourth power. That means I have to take, Molly, what? I have to take 2 to the fourth power, and then what happens with the a? Yeah, making it a to the 12th. Now, I'm going to tell you this. When you have a number with your variable, you got to figure out what 2 to the fourth power is. Does anybody know what that is? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So this 2 is 4. This 2 and 2 is 4, and 4 times 4 make it 16. So you'd say 16 a to the 12th. So anything inside the parentheses has to be taken to that power, whether it's a coefficient like the number 2 or whether it's an a to the third. Everything has to be taken to that power, everything that's inside the parentheses. Okay, questions about that? Do you want me to do another one of those, the bottom ones? No, we're good? Okay.